I still don't know what to think of Freddy Got Fingered. What is going on? Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Do you want to start with that, or do you want to start with?
let's start with Freddy Got Fingered. We're already on it.
All right. So what's up, everybody? This is Real Bad Takes. It's your boy. No, it's not your boy. It's Josh.
Ethan.
I got Ethan here.
Ethan's here.
And I guess we're starting with Freddy Got Fingered.
Yeah.
The great Tom Green.
There's nowhere to go but up after talking about Freddy Got Fingered.
That is a good point. That is.
Yeah.
But when did it come out? Like
2001.
2001. So, you know what? That doesn't really feel like the end of the. We were saying it's like the. No, sorry. We were saying Miss March is the end of the American Pie era.
Yeah.
This was. You really can't compare this to.
No,
anything.
no. This is honestly, it's way more sophisticated, anti-sophisticated than American Pie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Like,
It's because I mean, to this day, it's pretty critically reviled.
yeah. It's like trying to be the worst movie ever.
Trying to, yeah.
But that's where it kind of loses me a lot because
Uh-huh.
it's trying to annoy me,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, oh, okay, like I get it, and the anti-humor, I would say for me it hit about not even half maybe like 25% of the time.
Uh-huh.
Like I feel like the sausage,
The sausages.
Daddy, would you like some sausage? just the design of that gag is so impressive.
Yeah, how he's got it all like strung up and the piano.
yeah. And I like that he's a physical comedic presence, but I don't know, maybe it's just that I'm spoiled with like Jim Carrey's like physical comedy.
I suppose.
So it is a la Jim Carrey at times, but yeah, like when he when he like jumps out of the window after the By the way, the whole Freddy Got Fingered thing doesn't happen until like I swear like 15 minutes.
15 minutes towards the end.
Yeah, like the plot doesn't, like, you're like, I'm wondering what is this whole Freddy Got, is this a licorice pizza situation where it doesn't have anything to do with that?
And for the longest time, I thought like Tom Green played Freddy.
Yeah, that was the first learning curve for me. They started, what's his name in the movie?
Gordy.
They're Gordy. I'm like, who's Freddy? And then it's the American Pie guy.
Yeah, it's the American Pie guy, his
that's
brother.
Freddy, yeah. And then the one part that I found super funny was after he's in like the orphanage or the rehabilitation center for abused children,
right?
And when he takes his dad to where does he end up taking him to in the end?
They go to like Iraq or
Is it
something,
or Afghanistan. Just
the
moves his house.
He knocks him out with a tranquilizer, right? And then
Yeah.
wakes up and the house is on stilts in the Middle East.
on a truck, I think, yeah. But when they become like refugees or like hostages, and they get brought back, they have like the big beard. But then it cuts to Freddy in the home, and he's also got a beard for some reason. You're like, what? They couldn't give him stuff to shave with. I mean, I guess maybe not, because most of those kids probably don't shave.
Yeah, I think he's too old. Well, the whole thing with that is that he's the one who's
he's an upstanding citizen.
He's blossomed slightly before Gordy has, because he's the one who says, "I've got a job," and
he's like, You work at the bank." He's like, yeah.
I mean, the thing for me is, and what sort of works for me is just how the studio gave Tom Green this millions of dollars, and he's basically made, I guess you could say, a coming of age story, and it's filled with scene after scene of something you'd expect to see in a coming of age movie, like the opening scene when he's saying bye to his family and they're like, "You make your daddy proud." It's like, "I'm gonna make you so proud, daddy." And
it's what's his face from Dodgeball.
Yeah, Rip Torn.
Rip Torn. We'll get into Dodgeball later. Dude, it's great. It's a Rip Torn episode. Also, Rip Torn. I didn't realize how ridiculous of a name Rip Torn is.
Yeah.
It's not his real name, right?
It can't be.
or his parents are hilarious.
Well, he's a hilarious dude.
He is a hilarious
It goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I just think what's interesting about the movie is, yeah, they gave him millions of dollars to make this coming of age story, and he's gonna deliver this coming of age story regardless of how awful everything around it is.
Like it almost seems like Tom Green is trying to stop the coming of age story.
Yeah, yeah,
But
but the coming of age story is just gonna break through regardless.
mhm.
Like at the end, he's gonna sweep this paralyzed girl that's fallen in love with him off her feet by bringing her jewels, and it's this quasi sweet moment. And she says, I don't care about jewels. Just want to suck your cock."
That whole subplot was just so odd to me, man. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this. That's where the anti-humor, I guess, worked, in that it didn't, like, annoy me. I was just kind of like, ugh, what's going on here? But she actually did great.
Yeah,
Like, she was one of the better like, I would say it was Rip Torn, then her.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the American Pie guy. I don't even want to count Tom Green as an actor in that. I think he's just trying to disrupt everything.
I really like Anthony Michael Hall in it. Is the guy, the head of that studio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, who keeps calling him a fucking idiot, and
Mhm.
when he just at the end when Tom Green breaks in and he's just laughing at his antics,
Yeah,
like
he's like running away from Rip.
yeah.
And just the acting of when, like, Tom Green's feverishly trying to explain anything to him, and he's just like pursed lips and just like
It's fucking stupid. You know what? This picture I'm looking at of you straight ahead from me, it kind of reminds me of Anthony Michael Hall in the movie.
yeah.
It's a spitting image of him there.
That'll be on the promo. I'll try to get Krista to Photoshop me into Freddy Got Fingered.
Yeah, try to get the frame of when he pulls the gun out on himself. He's like, I wish I was dead.
But yeah, well, like that scene of it shocked me, in that, like, I was like, oh, this is the smartest thing this movie's done. Which is a low bar, I will say, but it was clever, and I was just like, okay.
It's very it's like a cartoon, it's like
Yeah.
it's like a random Family Guy anecdote
Mhm.
just thrown in there.
Yeah. Well, I liked the whole. Was it Freddy, or no? It was his friend that told him, like, dude, your dad's a character.
Oh,
like,
was it Harlan Williams' character
yeah,
that said that?
Man, Harlan Williams, just amazing. It's, and when he breaks his leg,
Oh, and the bone sticking out.
and then Rip Torn doesn't care. He
doesn't care until he realizes it.
I thought he didn't. I thought he still didn't care. I thought
Yeah,
he kicked him.
I don't even remember. All I remember is that Tom Green, he starts licking it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the end, when in the credits, when they're showing, like, just the improv that didn't make the
bloopers,
cut,
yeah.
it wasn't even bloopers. It was just the improvs where it was just like, that one's not uncomfortable enough. I wouldn't say funny enough. But he's like pulling the fake bone. I was like, that's a visual I don't need. But yeah, no, that I didn't want to give that movie a star rating, just because I was like,
Yeah,
it doesn't really deserve to be. It's not for your your.
I think for me, it borders on it. Like, it's so awful and empty-headed
Mhm.
that it deserves half a star, but then, like, it kind of goes over that, becoming brilliant so many times that it deserves a 5-star. So I think right in the middle, a
Yeah.
3-star.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta respect the hustle.
The most contentious 3-star movie ever.
Yeah.
Like for having a middle of the road rating, it's like it's a tough decision.
I think that came out the same year as Tomcats. And
did it?
And,
oh god.
And yeah, it's of a similar, I think, where it's just so despicable and awful.
Wait, do we want to get into Tomcats also?
No, that's too far off. Maybe we can get it back into that in the future. But
I don't know if I have the capacity to watch that one again.
I honestly, Freddy Got Fingered really took a lot out of me. This 6-minute discussion we've had.
Yeah, so I mean, similar to we can get into the Relic and the Keep in a little bit, but since you haven't seen Elvis, I do find like some similarities on rating a movie with Baz Luhrmann in general. It does. I feel like I'm not supposed to rate because sometimes it's a montage, man. Like half of his movies are just like Rocky montages.
Yeah,
they're crazy, and like so we threw it on a little bit just because I wanted Ethan to see the Tom Hanks accent.
And I just gotta say, is it possible for Tom Hanks, the whitest person on earth, to be doing whiteface?
It almost feels racist.
Yeah.
Somehow I don't really know. But yeah, no, that movie makes Elvis seem so badass, and I think it's also just because Austin Butler.
Yeah.
Like the timing of Austin Butler's trajectory right now, for him to do Elvis right off the tail of Top Gun, I'm like, oh, that's
Top Gun.
Top Gun Maverick. Wait,
he wasn't in that.
Oh, I thought he was the. Wait, who's that actor?
Which one?
The heel.
Hangman.
Hangman, yeah.
That's an actor named Glenn Powell.
I thought that was the same guy. Oh my god. Wait, what's Austin Butler from?
Fuck. The only thing I could think of him is he was Tex in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's Austin Butler?
That's Austin Butler, yeah.
That guy looked like a Adam Driver knockoff.
Well, regardless, I think he's great.
No, he is great. Yeah.
In his 2 or 3 scenes he has in that movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. But in this, like his southern drawl in it is fantastic. Like the epicness of him on stage, he carries that. I think a lot better than what's his face did in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I love Freddie Mercury, to be fair, both of those feats are ridiculously hard to match. Like maybe Freddie Mercury a little bit harder because Elvis's moves are so iconic.
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury, he didn't really have a move. He was just this big
personality.
Thing. Like he's just a giant personality. He had attitude and all that stuff. Elvis just had the hips and he had the big performances. Like and one of my favorite scenes in the Elvis movie was when he got the residency and he was like ramping up his production, because I didn't really think about that, like because you hear the That's All Right Mama, and it's kind of like almost skiffle. It's really bad, like not bad, but like torn down production. It's just a band kind of thing, and that like you see the legendary like Hound Dog performance where he slows it down. And but then when he goes to the residency, that's when you get like the orchestra, I don't know if he helped put it together the way they showed it in the movie, but him like kind of like orchestrating like the scale of everything, and then like just the warm-ups that they do is like, oh man, like that's that like movie. I mean, that's that music stuff that like it made me feel like the Get Back like documentary he did at times, and I think that's all you can really ask for from like movie biopics. I think we talked about it on the first podcast, but like just music biopics in general, it's just like Walk Hard ruined it.
Walk Hard for sure ruined it,
but especially by being a really good movie.
Yeah,
like a real like John. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but John C. Reilly. I want to hear him actually. Like, I would love to hear a cover album of John C. Reilly.
Well, I mean, the thing is that those are all original songs for that movie, and
but they're all
at the time he actually did like a small tour.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's right. Just like didn't School of Rock do that too?
I don't know if School of Rock did.
I know they did a performance or two. It might not have been a tour, but I know like they probably did one in L.A. and like they did a couple songs, but yeah, I'm sure Jack Black does School of Rock songs with Tenacious D.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, but do you want to get into the Relic and the Keep?
Yeah, let's get to it.
All right, so we got to go to the legendary New Beverly Cinema, and we saw a double feature of Michael Mann's The Keep and
Peter Hyams' The Relic.
And Ethan, you've seen The Keep before.
Yeah, I've seen it multiple times.
Did you just seen it online? You didn't see the...
Yeah.
You haven't seen it in theaters?
I've seen it. I've seen it. I got a copy of it years ago off of Apple,
Mhm.
Apple iTunes, and yeah. So Michael Mann's The Keep, it's a movie that had a very troubled production. I think they shot it in England. All
Mhm.
these elaborate sets and stuff. uh, and yeah, it was just one of those boondoggles of shoot,
Yeah.
something like Apocalypse Now, not quite,
Yeah.
but something like that. Things were like the visual effects guy. He worked on 2001: A Space Odyssey. He died like 2 weeks into post production,
Mhm.
so that's
And
why there's like there's that whole sequence where the Nazi kills the other Nazi, and then when he comes out, Molasar, the golem like monster of the movie,
mhm.
he's killed all the Nazis. You don't
Mhm.
get to see that because the visual effects supervisor, and I think it was Michael Mann, he took up the reins to do visual effects. He didn't know exactly what the guy was planning on doing.
Yeah, yeah. So
So yeah,
all of his powers were pretty ambiguous, and
yeah,
it was like I don't think he used the same power once more
yeah,
than once,
yeah,
which I guess is cool. Like,
yeah.
I love
Kind
some
of keeps you on your
variety,
toes,
but yeah, like wait, I think with movies like The Keep and definitely The Relic, like we should probably give a little quick tidbit on what it's about.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
probably do it a little better. Give us your
Oh
quick three
yes.
sentence.
So the keep, it's about these Nazis. I believe it starts in 1940,
Hmm.
1941. I think maybe 1940. They roll up at the early stages of the Nazi occupation of Europe.
Hmm.
Yeah, they roll up to this Romanian village in the Carpathian Mountains, I believe. Um and they just take up base here, and in this village there's this giant facility, this keep as they
Hmm.
call it. It's kind of a funny line because when he walks in, the main Nazi, played by the actor Jürgen Prochnow, yeah, he says this keep, it wasn't built to keep people out, it's built to keep something inside.
Yeah.
And it made me
I think that's the good, like I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a contained thriller, I guess you could
yeah,
call it.
uh-huh.
The what a though So the valley that they're in,
Mhm.
is that all a set, do you know? Or is that like actually in a, cuz that valley looked crazy.
Yeah, no,
Like
I'm honestly not sure.
because there was like towards the end when it's showing like out exterior shots, like I feel
Mhm.
like you hadn't seen outside the keep
Yeah.
for maybe like 30 minutes, but
Uh-huh.
then it shows that looked like a set.
Yeah.
Like there was like four houses, like it was kind of up on a hill,
Uh-huh.
and like that kind of reminded me of set. But like the opening shots, I'm pretty sure that was a location shoot.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
but dude, just the keep in general, like, I think right
Badass
after the
set.
movie we talked about like it gave real heavy like Blade Runner 2049
Yeah.
vibes
Yeah.
of like where you meet Jared Leto in
Mhm.
that, like the whole angular, like
Yeah.
sloped, it's not a ramp
Mhm.
for walking on, it's just meant to look cool.
Yeah.
Like no
Yeah.
actual use.
Yeah.
It's just sick. But yeah, that movie was really, it was interesting. I had a little bit of trouble getting past the quality of the film reel, because they
Yeah. Uh-huh.
sometimes every once in a while, like you could see everything,
Mhm.
but it would just get real blurry, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden you could tell they cut and replaced the film with a newer cut
Yeah.
or a cleaner cut. And
Well, so what's going on there is that the movie, it was severely chopped down. Michael Mann,
that's right.
this was only his second film, and his original cut was over 3.5 hours long, and Paramount, of course, got cold feet. They're like, "All right, buddy, you could have 2 hours." So he cut it down to 2 hours, and then he handed it over to Paramount, and without his permission, they cut out a half hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah. So yeah, they had, with no input from him, they chopped out scenes, audio.
Hmm.
So that's why when you watch it, and this is something I've noticed watching it years back, from my copy off iTunes, like yeah, the sound, it'll dip out. You
Yeah.
can barely hear anybody talking. Like
Mhm.
somebody, I remember the main Nazi. He was talking to the more evil Nazi in the
There-
story.
There's good Nazis in this,
There's
guys.
good
Just so-
Nazis in this story. This is a very weird fucking movie.
yeah.
But yeah, like he'll be talking, and I remember it was like really inaudible. And then the more evil Nazi in the same scene, he's talking and he's louder.
Yeah.
He's like so
Yeah.
much more loud. It's like watching Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. Like
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Rrr," and then he's like,
But
um,
I did really like that whole distinction because it's something you never thought about. I mean, like we're joking when we say it's a good Nazi. I mean, obviously
yeah,
there's no real good Nazis, but
yeah, no,
they're the squad of German soldiers that come in initially. You know they're Nazis.
hmm
It's not actually, honestly, I didn't know until like short when they started talking
hmm
because they were in like green uniforms. They didn't have the swastikas.
hmm
And I was like, "Are these Americans?" And then I heard them. They started talking. I was like, "Oh no, no, no!" and like they were even kind of biting and mean in the
Mhm.
beginning, and then what
The
was it actually? What were they officially called?
the SS officers
Yeah,
roll in. Yeah, once so to really just get into it, yeah, so these Nazis, they're guarding the keep overnight because they were trying to steal the silver crosses. Um
wait, that
and
was the whole purpose that they went there because they were gonna loot it.
no, no, not necessarily. They're just trying to occupy regions throughout Europe,
Yeah.
just to set up base.
Mhm.
But yeah, these two Nazis, they discover that there's silver in these walls
Mhm.
of the keep, and they're specifically told by the keeper of the keep,
The
the groundskeeper of the keep.
Yep.
They're specifically told, do not remove the crosses, or else it's gonna be fucking bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, these two Nazis, they're guarding it overnight, and they start lighting up, very very surrealistically,
Mhm.
and
Wait,
then
I thought it was just the one.
it was just one, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just one, and then so yeah, they start to remove the crosses, and yeah, they get a little excited, and then they start removing more, and then it leads to that shot where the Nazi falls in,
Mhm.
and then yeah, he's just peeking his head out, and God, if anyone listening can find this shot off of YouTube or something, or just watch the movie. Yeah, it just shows this Nazi poking his head out and just a black void, and then the camera just pulls back, and it's like a combination of like, it's a composite shot,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, as it's pulling back, like it creates like this vortex that just made me feel like my soul was leaving my body.
Yeah, just the play on perspective
Yeah.
there was so because like I mean, it's pulling back and you're like, oh, this is a big room.
Yeah.
And then that's only like the first 10 seconds of
Exactly.
like of like a minute shot,
Yeah.
and you don't see anything for
Yeah.
like 40 seconds. You like this is just probably the quality of the film we were seeing, but like there's a point where you can barely
Yeah,
see the
he's just a
guy,
speck
he's like a
there.
speck in the top right
Yeah,
corner.
yeah.
And then finally you can kind of see like
You can see
the
the pillars.
relics.
Yeah, you can see the pillars and the dirt, and
Mhm.
it's just this massive shot. And that's when they unleash Molasar. I guess it's weird. It's one of those movies where they say their names maybe like once or twice.
Yeah,
But you barely hear it,
yeah.
But yeah, the monster's name is Radu Molasar. And at first he's just seen as like a beam of light.
Mhm.
Um
No, he's he's a beam of light at first,
yeah.
and then the next time we see him, he's
He's the smoke monster.
he's the smoke monster, which I'm pretty sure you can tell that was the only thing that post production that guy that
Yeah.
died worked on. I think that was it.
Yeah, because it's like, how the fuck did they do that?
Yeah, just like it. I really don't even know I can only imagine you did it. You took a shot of like a smoke machine
Mm-hmm.
going through because you can kind of see like glimmers of like lines of light
Yeah.
coming through the smoke, but it is a human shaped plume of smoke, almost like those simulations that you see
Mm-hmm.
that like big on like TikTok and stuff of like people dancing and they're like covered in strings, so all the strings are like moving all crazy. It's like it's that level quality,
Mhm.
which is hilarious when you look at the rest of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, this dark, dank room and some like grainy footage, but
Mhm.
for some reason that shot looks immaculate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like that, I would say that was like the peak. Like he saves the
He saves
girl from being raped by the Nazis and carries her through.
Mhm.
And there's the big standoff with Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
And Ian McKellen is a Jewish
He's a
Jewish
He's
guy.
a Jewish doctor, yeah.
Was he even a doctor? I thought he was.
He was like an archaeologist of some sort.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And-
they call in Magneto and his daughter from the death camps,
Mhm.
because the priest of the village, he says, yeah, he's the only guy in Europe that can translate these inscriptions on the wall.
Yeah.
Um,
I like that was bullshit.
Yeah,
I really, because it felt like a hokey like excuse at first, and then when it was like, oh, it was a hokey excuse.
yeah, it was a
but,
hokey
like,
excuse. They're just trying to get him free.
Like, yeah, I was just like, okay, I like not meta, but like, they know they're bullshit.
Yeah. It's
like, I don't have to say it's bullshit because it is bullshit.
But yeah, the trail. Yeah. So Magneto's there. He's dying.
He's got some weird.
He's got some sort of disease.
Autoimmune kind of thing, like.
And then Molisar, yeah, he realizes that he's not exactly a part of, the Nazis. He realizes that he realizes it's a part of his people, that,
Yeah,
because he's basically a golem figure, the golem of ancient Jewish myth, that avenges Jews,
Yeah.
I just went cross-eyed. Why don't you go?
But yeah, the whole in Ian McKellen's like in a wheelchair the whole time.
Yeah.
He's like they. It was really funny because it's an older movie, so I was like, how long has Ian McKellen been old for? And then it turns out when the guy's name again,
Molisar.
I'm sorry, I'm never gonna be able to say it. I'm never gonna remember that. But Molazar like touches him, and then he becomes Ian McKellen at the current time and when the filming occurred.
So instead of being a 7-year-old Ian McKellen, he's now what? He's 62-year-old Ian McKellen.
Yeah. Instead of ancient, now he's just old. And he can stand, and he doesn't he have powers too?
He doesn't have powers, but he's cured of his illness.
Mhm.
He can walk around.
Yeah.
I remember people chuckling at the moment where he's feeling his face.
Yeah.
How young he feels.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where if you're not on this movie's wavelength, of course you're gonna laugh at it.
Yeah.
But me, I mean, I'm 100% on this wavelength.
See, I do like that. That's why I kind of like the highfalutin like crowds, because they'll laugh at something, and I don't care if they think it's a dumb movie. I'll still laugh at a thing that's funny. Like that's not supposed to be funny like that. Yeah, I still think it was a great movie, but it's like, yeah, it's a thing, like not a cliche quite. No, it's a cliche. It's a stereo or not movie trope. That's what I was thinking of. But yeah, that whole part, and then he covertly tries to give off the perception that he's not healed.
Yeah.
Even though his face looks great.
Yeah.
And I think even the priest is like, you look good.
You look good, man.
Did you sell your soul to the devil?
Yeah, well, the priest is the one that's freaking out. He says like, "Oh, the devil's in you," know.
Yeah.
But where do we go from here?
The guy that gets awoken by Molazar, the Raising Arizona dirt bike guy, pretty much.
So when Molasar is awakened, simultaneously, it cuts to Greece, and this man played by Scott Glenn is awoken. There's a beam of light that appears in his room, and then his eyes go all white, and his name is Glycan. That's his name. It's funny because in the climax, the girl Ava, she says about the talisman that's holding Molasar in the keep. She says it doesn't belong to Molasar. It belongs to Glycan, and his name's like Trisamiscus something.
Oh my God.
And it's like, where did you get those names?
Is he not even supposed to be like? They don't really get into like what happened to him, do they?
No. What happens to him before or after?
Well, like how he became this like this being.
Yeah, no, they don't. Like, is he just like working a regular job?
So I feel like he's an immortal being.
Yeah.
Given that,
I think so too.
He's he like whatever created the evil that is Bolazar also created him to keep him in check, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like that's why he woke up. He's like, oh, gotta do my job. It's like the Eternals.
Yeah.
I wish you could see Ethan's furious at me right now.
I'm not furious,
No,
but it's actually a decent point of comparison.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's pretty much like the Eternals
Yeah.
sent there, except it's not the plot twist at the end of the Eternals, I guess if you want to call it that.
I don't even remember what you're talking about.
It's fine. We'll know in the next 15 Avenger movies. Maybe. But yeah, like his whole it is really funny, like his journey to go, because like he does not come in until like the last 20 minutes of the movie. Or
Yeah.
no,
Well, he gets there probably about at the 45-minute mark or so.
they cut to him quite a bit, though.
Yeah, they cut to him quite a bit. One of the most amazing shots in the movie is when he's hopping on a boat to get over to Romania.
Mhm.
It just shows the boat, at magic hour or early late
yeah.
magic hour, and it's just the camera, it's just holding and it's just bobbing and weaving, just following this boat, and then
Mhm.
you see the the horizon line.
Mhm.
And it's just holding, and it's just so hypnotic. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing about this movie. It's just it's like a hypnodrome.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like that feeling that the movie had a lot makes me think that like the cuts, that the 3 hour, the
Yeah.
2 hour cut,
Uh-huh.
wanted to make it more of like a cabin fever
Uh-huh.
kind of thing with like the Nazis being in the keep. Like I feel like they wanted to kind of have them tormented a little more. There was really no, as far as like the interactions with Molazar,
Mm-hmm.
there's no real like it's either they're getting killed or they don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
There's no like, oh, I heard a thing.
Yeah.
It's if you hear a thing, you're gonna die in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you only have hearsay, and then like you say, Ian McKellen, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man, what the best comedic, I think the only comedic part, or no, there's two. My favorite comedic part was when they're trying to say like, oh, it's not safe here. You have to go to the hotel outside.
Yeah.
And I forgot the exact dynamic, but the officer who's the actual heel of the movie,
Uh-huh.
he's someone like, he wants nobody to leave. He wants everyone to stay there under his control. And then the priest agrees, or no, Ian McKellen goes, I agree with him. I think you should definitely go. He's like, I'm sorry, you making orders right now? Go to the hotel. Or oh no, he doesn't. Ian McKellen wants her to stay with him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, are you making the rules here? It's like, you don't just agree with me. I'm gonna do what you don't want to do. And then the other part that they definitely cut out a lot of was the love scene with
the courting of Ava and Glycan.
Yeah, which is just hilariously like
just very jettisoned,
clunky.
Yeah,
there's like 3 cross dissolves, and that's really it.
Yeah,
and then there's a sex scene,
and then they're having amazing sex. Probably the best sex you've ever seen in your life.
That was a very good, tasteful sex scene.
Yeah,
got a little bush.
You get a little bush too.
Bush. I was like, okay, good.
Yeah,
but
and Scott Glenn is jacked.
Oh yeah, he does like an Arnold pose.
dude, yeah, they're doing crosses.
Yeah, I know it's for sure supposed to be a Jesus allegory, but he even does like the hand up that like when Arnold's, it's like the Olympian pose or something like that. Yeah. But the funny part there is she's trying to like ask him about his life, and he's just avoiding it. Like it happens like 3 times, and the last time he's just she just asks him like, where are you from? Like why are you here? He's just, go to sleep.
After the fucking.
The pillow talk is where, like, who are you?
Yeah.
And she's just like, sleep now, which he might have done with his powers, because that's never worked for me.
She's just cool. Okay.
All right. Yeah. She doesn't even agree. She just falls asleep. Yeah. It's like, he should have just snapped his fingers.
I knew the audience would get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
I always thought that was funny.
That part is pretty. But yeah, I mean, like, I do wish. I mean, it's a damn shame that the production value couldn't be there for like you said, where you just show up and the Nazis are all burnt to a crisp and dead. Like, I wish we could have seen that.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, maybe that was the part that they cut out.
Yeah.
That the studio cut out.
I mean, I think the thing with that specifically was that they could not figure out exactly how they were going to kill all those Nazis.
Yeah.
So
maybe Michael Mann figured it out,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just, I mean, he doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah,
So they were kind of like,
that's not exactly his wheelhouse.
it doesn't look good. Let's just get rid of it, kind of thing.
But for like I said, 3.5 hour cut to 2 hours to 90 minutes. Um, as terrible as it is that all that footage is lost, that there's no way we can ever get a final cut of that movie.
Yeah.
I think adding in extra footage, I think you'd lose a lot of the dreamlike quality
Yeah.
that the movie is really delivering on.
There would definitely be some pacing.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like the courting scene, it was clearly a lot longer.
Yeah.
And that might have really messed up the pacing, because that part's just complete. Even in the cut that we have, it really feels like a shot out of left field.
Yeah.
It's like I wouldn't say quite forced, because it's like, I mean, sure, it's a hot girl, it's a hot guy, and he's mysterious, and she's the main character. So yeah, but I feel like that pacing could have really gotten weird. And how long could that scene be with him revealing nothing about himself? like how long could he make it?
There was probably a whole hour where they're just hanging out, and
she's just telling her life story.
Yeah.
Like, what about you? He's like, I'm tired.
But I'm not gonna go to sleep.
I'm not gonna go to sleep. I technically don't sleep. I just wait here for humans to wake up.
The last time I slept was about 35 hours ago when I was in Greece, and no more sleep for me.
I only sleep in Molazar's tent.
Which to talk a little more about the character of Glykin. So with Michael Mann movies, he tends to really focus on the lone wolf types. It's in all of his movies. I think the only movie you've really seen from Michael Mann was Collateral.
Yeah.
And I think
Tom Cruise is
Tom Cruise and I would say Jamie Foxx as well.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a loner. The cool thing about Collateral is that you get two types of that. You get the typical lone wolf Michael Mann character with Tom Cruise as the assassin, but then you also get a slacker lone wolf type with Jamie Foxx in that movie, which is really cool. It's a really cool dichotomy. But he from all of his movies, he likes the lone wolf type, and there is no lonelier God's lonely man in a Michael Mann movie than Glykin in The Keep. Because the thing about him is, if you compare to like Robert De Niro in Heat, you see in Heat, Robert De Niro, he's really feeling that emptiness.
Yeah.
Whereas Glykin in The Keep, he's not even. There's no real. He's not really pushing back against his loneliness at all.
He's like one or two interesting things away from being a plot device.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I think if he didn't have like the green blood when he got shot, I would just be like, okay. like that just that was just enough to interest me. To be like, that is a mysterious man. But like, like the whole time it's portraying him as just like, you don't need to know anything about this guy. He might not even know about himself. It's so steeped in mystery that you don't bother asking. Like that's why I feel like Raising Arizona is almost making fun of that. He just throws a grenade at a.
Is it a bunny?
Yeah. And a bunny is just like, nobody cares. Just make sure he gets to the thing on time. But I want to know. Maybe this is in Heat also, but like in Collateral, I like that it's two lone wolves learning to not be lone wolves to some extent. Like even though it ends horribly. Like it's them kind of like reaching an understanding until they don't. They're or settling for not being a lone wolf. Does he have like notes of that too?
So in Heat, Robert De Niro's whole thing is that he says early on to Val Kilmer's character, he has a wife, he has a kid. Robert De Niro tells him his mantra, which is he's like, don't have anything that you can't walk out on within 30 seconds if you spot the heat around the corner. He says that early on in the movie, but also early on in the movie, Robert De Niro also meets this woman who he starts to develop a relationship with her. And he he starts off lying to her that he's just a salesman,
Yeah.
but then she finds out that he's this horrible murdering bank robber. um and then he eventually he tries to convince her like to come with them, and she's pushing back, but then eventually she gives in, and and at the climax of Heat they're about to run away together.
Mhm.
But then the drive for revenge is what pulls De Niro back. He's
Yeah.
like, I got to do one more thing before we go,
Mhm.
and then that leads to his ultimate fate, which is to die by the hand of Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, even Al Pacino in that movie, he's a bit of a lone wolf too. He's married in it. He has a stepdaughter. But by the end of it, like he's like, yeah, he's like, we tried, but I can't really do this.
Mhm.
He's like his third marriage, I think he says in that movie. But yeah, that's God's lonely men.
Yeah. So what to wrap up on the Keep? What would you?
Could we talk about the climax first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hop in.
So yeah, the climax of the movie, for all the little snickering, it's a weird movie, so you're gonna have snickering in the
Yeah.
audience, But once it got into that final 20 minutes, like you could just feel that everyone in the room was just locked in.
Yeah.
And you got the Tangerine Dream score.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe we didn't talk about that.
Yeah,
dude.
the Tangerine Dream score, the
that
synth
score is
score.
Nuts.
Oh
It's
my
like
God.
Dr. Disrespect streamed. I don't want to disrespect Dr. Disrespect. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no,
That's very respectful.
like it's for sure what like that's probably like Dr. Disrespect definitely loves like Tangerine Dream and all that kind of that is his I mean it's synthwave kind of stuff, but the thing I found so funny is like the most scores are just like atonal typically. Like sometimes there's a big crescendo of something like obviously John Williams isn't atonal, he makes big boisterous things, but your typical score like in the moments of like a like in big moments it tries not to take your attention, but
it just tries to be in the background.
But like there was times when I heard like crazy chord progressions going on at the same time as like speaking scenes. And then like also there was like a time when like a snare, like a drum machine snare came in and it's a weird time signature. And I'm like, who does that? Who's doing like a 7/8 time signature? Like I was just hearing the snare. I could not pinpoint when the next snare was gonna be. I was just like, wait, what's going on?
Just completely unpredictable.
Yeah, I love all those those old drum machine sounds, crazy electronic toms. Like all of it was beautiful. Like I would say the score is probably my favorite part of the movie, next to the look of like the smoke, like that smoky reveal of the monster. I would say those are the two highlights for me for sure.
Okay.
I will say I got a little bit like I didn't fatigue, but the climax I was getting kind of like I was getting pulled in a lot of directions. I felt like, so I was like, I don't know what to think at this point. Like, and that's why like it grabbed me, but I was just trying to make sense of it, and I think I did at the end of it. But I was like there was like 10-15 minutes where I was like, who am I rooting for?
The Nazis are dead. I can't root for them anymore. And Ian McKellen, like he's kind of evil now.
Yeah, he turns heel for a second, and then like that is one thing I really liked about the movie. It pulls you in so many directions of just the idea that we're gonna follow Nazis as main characters for a second.
Yeah.
I was like, it was already like from the start. You're like, are we really gonna? Like, are these gonna be protagonists? And yeah, that one guy is a protagonist.
Yeah. The one main Nazi. Like they even have like pointed moments where he says that he fought with the anti-fascist Germans before the the takeover of the Nazis and stuff. Like they're really trying to emphasize like, hey, this guy's not so bad.
He's
like,
just a mercenary, really.
When the SS guys roll in and they're gonna execute a bunch of guys because they think that the villagers are doing all these murders, like he runs out there trying to stop them. Like I've never seen a quote unquote heroic Nazi in a movie before, except for Tom Cruise in Valkyrie, I guess. That's the one.
Wait, do I need to watch that now?
I saw that one time in the theater. I thought it was okay.
Okay.
But Yeah, so the climax of the movie, all the Nazis are dead,
Mhm.
thank God. Even if they're good, thank God, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And Molisar, we didn't talk much about Molisar besides the effects and stuff, but he's a Molisar. I just dig how like every scene he looks different, and this is mainly because Michael Mann. I mean, of course, the visual effects issues that we spoke of,
Yeah.
but he I guess like from day to day, he wasn't sure how he wanted Molisar to look.
Let's give him more traps.
Yeah, let's give him more traps. Yeah. Um, I think a lot of cocaine probably had to do with that.
Yeah. What is
the indecision?
the correlation between practical effects and cocaine's is astonishing. Visual effects, I guess it's just kids in a basement doing meth. So it's just those poor Marvel studios. but but yeah, like it does look really cool. Every once in a while you'd see like the prosthetics kind of look dry.
A little chintzy maybe.
Yeah, but I mean just the glowing face, the eyes and
Dude,
the mouth.
when
that
he
nuts.
just looks like a skull with red eyes, you know.
Yeah.
And watching this new season of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call him Vecna.
Immediately when I saw like the first episode or whatever, I was like, wow, they really stole from the Keep. Like, good on you guys. Like,
yeah, you gotta respect him for digging.
Yeah.
Digging like that. I'm like, all right, man. Like a movie that's only on VHS.
and the sound cue is like a little similar too. Whenever you hear that dong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like there's a few sound cues where you see Molisar's hand or something, and it's got the Tangerine Dream score just kick in. But yeah. Anyways, this climax, it's Glycan versus Molisar, and it's just this light show, just this spectacular light show where they're just shooting colors at each other.
Yeah.
And like just it reminded me, it made me think this is Michael Mann's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Like it sort of has that ending climax where it's just a pillar, just light, just destroying.
When you said Raiders of the Lost Ark, it the memory of his reveal when he blows up the Nazi's head. I totally, dude, and you see the skull fragments go over. I was like, damn, dude.
They crack like glass.
Yeah,
so
I was like,
sick.
that is so awesome. and that brings us back to like he never had the same, like he had infinite powers.
Yeah.
Like, they had to give Thanos 6 stones for him to have like 6 powers, and this dude's just got anything.
which is interesting. So like I think what the theme of the movie, what it's kind of reaching at is so it starts, there's these group of Nazis, they roll in, they're there to take over. Those guys are bad, but they're kind of the good version of that.
Yeah.
Then you have Molisar is awakened, then the SS rolls in. These guys are way worse, you know?
Yeah.
But the whole thing is that Molisar is even worse.
Yeah.
You know? And the fact that it takes place in 1940, we're not even in the heart of World War II yet.
Yeah.
And this is the worst thing that has happened ever, unleashed on Earth. And then it goes away, you know, Glycan with his light, he beams it away. And it's still only 1940. They still got all these war atrocities to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, the worst thing is not over.
It is really funny. It's when we finished the Keep and we went back out and had a cigarette to talk about it. I was talking to you about like, wait, like, I mean, we brought it up before, like, who do I root for? It's just like, it's really just it's not an anti-hero story at all. There's not a hero to be seen in this movie. It's just who's the least bad.
Yeah.
And it's glycogen. It's
and of course Ava.
Ava's a good, but she's kind of just sidelined.
She's completely powerless to the horrors. She almost gets raped by Nazis.
She's the Ray Liotta of the a la Goodfellas.
She's the witness to all this. And then the movie ends it ends on her gazing back at the camera like, what the fuck's gonna happen next, you know?
Wait, so there's no more Nazis, so she's clear as long as she doesn't get caught again.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. She got the fuck of her life and she's free now.
Yeah. Dude, when the lead up to the fight, the final fight between
Just fucking
Vecna and
awesome.
Glycogen, the, there's a shot, the back shot of him, of Glycon. I swear it was like so steeped in shadows that I couldn't tell what color it was. I thought it was Molasar. His traps are that big,
so
dude.
huge.
He's so stacked. And I was just like, and then it went to the front shot, and I was like, oh no, that is crazy, dude.
I think
They did draw like compare like that. I wonder if that was supposed to be like a
Like
visual
parallels?
cue of like they're one and the same. He's just the
Yeah.
light, he's the dark kind of thing.
it's the dyad, the yin and the yang.
Yeah, do you think they CG'd his traps like Tom Hardy in that MMA movie?
No, all natural, baby.
All natural.
Yeah.
Just,
And you know what, I
well,
think
definitely not all natural. They put some HGH in him probably, but
I think that my favorite shot in the movie is when Glycon after he shot, he goes back to his room and he has his shirt off, which is interesting because you see the green goo on his shirt.
yeah.
He gets shot, he's climbing back up to get back to his room. Then you see his shirt off in the room. And then when he goes back to fight Molasar in the climax, his shirt's back on. So I don't know what's going on there. But my favorite shot in the whole movie is when he goes to grab his spear, his club.
Yeah.
And then as soon as his hands touch it, there's that pink purple light.
Yeah.
It just glows, and
When he puts the relic or
and then when he puts the relic on after, and then the fucking the arms.
It's really
and
funny
it
that
goes...
we're calling it the Relic right now when we're about to talk about the movie The Relic. This is gonna be a hard to follow podcast.
But no, I just I think Michael Mann movies, there's always like a signature moment in it. Where like The Last of the Mohicans, there's that final 15 minutes of all out action where it turns into a silent film basically.
Yeah.
You got the shootout in Heat, obviously, that's a big one. The nightclub shootout in Collateral, and I think if you want to take something away from The Keep, it's either that shot where it pulls away from the Nazi and he's just a blip on the screen.
Yeah.
Or you could take the final 15 minutes of this movie and it's just I don't know, a synth music video. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like we should get into the Relic soon, but the one of the weird like synth score parts was when Ian McKellen's running with the Relic.
Yeah, and it's that slow mo.
And it's like it's dark sounding and everything, but then this like arpeggiator comes in, and it hits like the third chord in it is a hopeful chord, which is just so weird because everything's so bleak and like I think he's already kind of shown his cards as being kind of unhinged. Unhinged, and it's scary. We don't know what's gonna happen, but it's also going into his perspective, I guess, of like, I'm gonna be great. Yeah, like I'm gonna be like immortal. Kind of like it's such an odd choice there, and like I wonder if it's just serendipitous or if that's how it was intended. But it doesn't really matter when it comes to art, I guess. But okay, so you want to give it a star rating?
Yeah. No, for me, I'm a big Michael Mann head. I'd give it 5 stars. It's just such a unique. It's one of a kind. It's completely one of a kind. I would put it in probably my top 3 favorite Michael Mann movies. It's just one of a kind. He followed this movie up with he started the Miami Vice TV series, which it's very lyrical like this, very music video-esque, but his next feature film was my favorite movie of all time, Manhunter. Yeah. And it really sucks, I think, that The Keep and Manhunter, they were both huge flops at the time, because I think he really did something interesting with horror back then, which he hasn't touched on since Manhunter. But his next movie, he's finally gonna be making his Ferrari biopic. Making a movie about the Ferrari. I don't know shit about that, but I'm very excited that he's gonna be finally making that.
Okay. I think I would go 4 stars. I would say a soft 4 stars, but I want to see it again. I definitely want to give it another pass through, and then maybe at home so I can turn it up and like when the parts I miss, I can like when the sound
turn the brightness up too.
Because when the sound design goes off and it's like
But one more thing I gotta mention. The presentation on 35 millimeter that we saw.
Oh yeah.
It was actually way clearer to me than the standard definition version that you'll get off of iTunes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just seeing it on a big screen. The sound quality was a bit dodgy, which
Mhm.
you can only blame Paramount for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it never looked like, sure, the grain quality was
I
there.
love
I
Grain.
love grain
Yeah,
too. I
like
love the fucking
that's
grain.
why that's why you go to New Beverly.
That's why you go. You go for the grain, baby.
Yeah, like even freaking the Relic.
Yeah.
It was a '90s movie, so
Yeah.
it's not like
It's not like, yeah, it wasn't too old. But yeah, the
Yeah.
print that we saw the Keep on, like, I was kind of nervous. I was like, this movie's from '83. Like, I wonder how it's gonna look. But
Yeah.
it looked pretty impeccable.
Didn't they say that was like the first cut or something like that, or the original?
You know what? I missed
some of the original.
I actually missed the whole intro.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Dang it, you did miss the intro because we'll transition into the Relic now, but the part of the movie going experience at the New Beverly, there's always someone who does a little speech and talks about the movie we're about to see, and it was really funny. This kid was doing well. Every once in a while he'd fumble on his words, but the whole time I was watching his hand that was holding the note, just shaking crazy, dude. And then he hit one joke that landed, and I watched him kind of like set his shoulders back, and he like kind of like sat in it, and he was like, okay, and his confidence lasted all of like 3 seconds, and then his hand started shaking again. So whoever you are, man, I'm rooting for you. You did a good job. Just maybe put your hand down next time. Remember the script.
It's just a bunch of nerds you're talking about.
Yeah, it's
in
just a
front
bunch of
you.
nerds that
Yeah.
wanted to work for Tarantino.
Relax. It's
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. But
But yeah, no, I think it's a forgotten movie. Like, I think I told you a year ago, like almost to the day, saw Manhunter at the New Beverly,
oh yeah,
and saw a bunch of manheads walking out. They had just seen Heat, and they're
Manheads
manheads.
is
Yeah.
such a funny-
And I just remember hearing them talking, and they were saying, like, so his first movie was Thief from 1981, and then they were like, yeah, and I don't think he made anything until Manhunter, and I was just sitting there biting my tongue, and I was like, he made The Keep. Like, what's wrong with you people? Well, how could you forget The Keep? But,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that time's forgotten. I guess Michael Mann has disowned it because of the quality of the cut. But
yeah.
I think what we need is a good Shout Factory restoration release of this movie. Like, just you could spruce up the audio a little. You
But
could fix that
they
shit.
should do the thing they did on The Big Lebowski, where they're like, we found an Italian cut.
Yeah.
And we had the wonderful
They have the intro.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. It was I'm glad I went into it with no
Absolutely
I had nothing to go off of. Like, I think you wanted to show Chrome in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I heard you explain it to Chrome, and I legitimately plugged my ears because I didn't want to know. Like, and I'm glad I did. But so I knew you loved it, so I was like, I felt like I was in good hands going into it. The Relic, however, neither of us,
yeah, complete virgins.
Did you even look up a trailer?
I didn't even look up a trailer.
Yeah,
I just wanted the complete virgin experience.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. When I knew it was like a '90s movie, I was kind of like,
yeah.
For some reason, which is weird because '90s was like a golden era, and it outdid my expectations insanely.
Yeah,
it's a simple.
Yeah,
it's a simple, like, there's a monster, kill the monster, and you learn a little bit about the monster, but who cares? We still gotta kill it. Like, all learning about everything was just a farce because it's gonna kill everybody if we don't do something about this.
And we need to fucking kill this thing.
Yeah. So. I was kind of sad we missed the.
We missed the opening credits,
which was very important.
Very important. Yeah. Shit.
We got enough that we were able to kind of put it together.
Yeah.
In the end, but so pretty much it's set in this museum where there's people all of a sudden just getting brutally murdered, like insanely murdered, and the opening scene kind of starts with this discount Indiana Jones kind of in this terrifying situation with some native tribe, and you can tell it's not ending well for him. And then we cut to the museum that he works for, and they get a shipment from him. It's it's random stuff. They don't really
It's
know what to make
it's just
of it.
like leaves in a broken relic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main character of the movie is doesn't like him,
Mhm.
so she kind of just shoos it off.
Yeah.
And I will say hands down the best part of this movie, cop talk. Man, they don't do cop talk anymore.
Yeah, no.
The-
Not like this.
Oh my god. Sorry, what's the actor's name? That's
The main cop?
Yeah.
Tom Sizemore.
Tom Sizemore.
Yeah.
And isn't the junior guy, or not the junior, the guy, his buddy, his partner.
Yeah,
I've seen him in stuff.
I probably have, but yeah, I
Yeah.
can't for the life of me
Yeah. But it's just the best. He's a superstitious guy. This movie
superstitious cop who's
Yeah.
going through a divorce.
and he's really upset about his dog.
He's really upset about the dog. Yeah.
He lost the dog in the
divorce.
divorce.
But it's really funny, like his superstition, like it's so like I learned some superstitions that I'd never known before, like don't walk over a dead body. Like
I feel like I heard that at some point, but yeah, like he really like stands by. And I mean, you and I kind of went through the whole. We went through our superstitions.
I'm still going through
Yeah,
it.
you're still going through it. Like I had my hat on the bed
Uh-huh.
before you got here, and I was like, oh, I better take that
Yeah,
off
better
for you.
take that off for me, yeah.
Make sure. Don't split a pole. Oh, my friend from college was the don't split a pole guy. Nobody split a pole.
Well, you've seen Scary Movie too.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right. But yeah, he steals the show by far.
Yeah, no. You need for a slim, stupid B movie like this. You need an actor with some good gravity.
Yeah.
And Tom Sizemore, before his methed out era, this was after he did Heat, before he did Saving Private Ryan. Like he's got the perfect kind of tough guy. Like also he's probably really shitty. Like he's a really shitty person. He's got that gravity to him.
But it's funny because he's like tough talking everybody.
Yeah.
He's kind of dismissive all the time, but he's really the sympathy of his character is palpable.
Yeah.
And everything. Like the first kill is the security guard, and
we'll get in.
and yeah, and they're sitting out there, and one of the body cleanup guys is like, hey, this guy was smoking a doobie when you got killed. And he goes, that's kind of a beheading is a little bit of a like a harsh punishment for a misdemeanor, isn't it? And this guy just laughs. It's just like it's such a mean movie.
Well, that's that Peter Hyams who directed this. He's always been kind of a journeyman filmmaker, nothing like an auteur or anything, but a very good journeyman. I think the movie he made prior to this was Sudden Death with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay.
It's a Die Hard knockoff where
That's right.
where Jean-Claude Van Damme, he's a fire marshal at this hockey arena, and the vice president is held hostage by these terrorists, and that is a mean fucking movie. Like the way that the terrorists get into where the vice president is, they hold the head chef at the arena. They hold his wife. He's an elderly man. They hold his wife hostage, and they say, if you don't let us in, we're gonna kill your wife. They fucking shoot the wife in the head, like immediately after they get him to comply. And then when the bad guys get up there with the chef, he's just this elderly nice man. They fucking kill him.
Oh my God.
They fucking kill him brutally. And the bad guy, played by Powers Booth, he's just like, oh, he was gonna be very sad. He just recently became a widow. It's like, man, this is a mean movie. I watched that movie when I was like stoned off my ass, and I just remember like just being in a terrible mood the rest of the movie.
I could see that in the wrong setting, the Relic could do the same thing.
For sure.
It could definitely do the same thing. Like it's just heads everywhere. like because the big thing of the monster is there's a big like plot about theories of evolution, where the contention with these two scientists in the museum are, one believes evolution gradually happens over millions and millions of years, and the old guy thinks there's an event, kind of like the stoned ape theory kind of thing, where like shrooms made apes crazy smart out of nowhere. He believes in that, but almost in a mystical way. And they talk about the native tribes, like mythology and religion, and how that kind of learning about that and their mysticism
Mm-hmm.
factors into their crazy evolution of of the human race.
Mm-hmm.
And I did really like that whole that whole breakdown, even though it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We really just gotta.
It's all in service of the monster run amok.
Yeah, but it's like it really does make it feel like a smart movie sometimes when it's really just like this thing's ripping heads off. What are we gonna do? But like it's like it has to do with the hypothalamus.
The hypothalamus. Oh my god. They love saying that word.
Yeah, well, even Tom
Sizemore really relishes every time.
I think they say like someone says the plural version like hypothalami, and he corrects them and goes hypothalamus. I just learned that word, and I think Hyman just learned that word too because he's enjoying himself with it. Did he write it too? Does he write and direct?
I don't think he writes, but I know for sure that he's always his own cinematographer.
Oh, nice.
So
I respect that.
And you know what? His movies all tend to look pretty good.
Yeah.
This one in particular, he's really aping the style of the Scott brothers, along with a little Spielberg.
Okay.
That's why
Wait. Ridley Scott and Tony Scott are brothers?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
It's a common last name, all right? I didn't know that.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
Yeah, no.
Austin Butler was great in Top Gun.
Oh my god.
I had to redeem myself on that one. Nobody's going to be listening this far, but I know I did it.
Well, anyways, to go back to the brother Scott, yeah, he Peter Hyams here, he seems to be emulating like that. There's a lot of times where he's emulating like the blue, like I think there's like forensic scenes or scenes where they're in a lab and it's very blue, and I was like, oh man, that looks really good, you know. And then he's really kind of taken a lot from Ridley and Spielberg, you know, with the Jaws alien rule of not showing too much of your monster, you know. But you know what? Can we get into the first kill, which is this security guard who he's just trying to unwind at the end of his shift. He goes into the bathroom, lights up a joint, and he is promptly punished for that.
Yeah, dude. And I was I was really conflicted with that. It's like, am I supposed to think like, because I mean, like movies do that, like horror movies do that all the time, where
it's a very
like
big slasher trope.
The first kill is usually a guy that's shitty, and he deserves it, and I'm like, I really don't think he deserved that. I don't
so either.
It was so mean.
Yeah, and then he even had an interaction with the head scientist lady at the beginning. You know?
Like, and when they're talking about him, he was like, I said hi to that guy every day for like 10 years. It's crazy, man. And I'm like, that guy was probably super awesome.
It's so mean. But more importantly, I was doing a little IMDb trivia research for this. That actor who played the security guard, he's mostly a stunt guy who's been in through Hollywood throughout the years. His biggest role was the opening scene of Jurassic Park. He's the guy who gets eaten by the raptor while he's trying to open the door.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the guy who, the hunter dude, Muldoon, he's holding him and says, shoot, he's trying to save that guy.
Yeah.
So I just think it's awesome that, he goes from that role to this role in the relic.
Well, I do remember like when he's in the bathroom and he gets pulled under the stall.
Yeah, he gets pulled under the stall, yeah.
And I remember seeing that. I was like, yo, that was kind of like, that was a violent movement.
Yeah.
And then I was like, how'd they do the body double switch? And they didn't. That was definitely just him.
He's a stunt guy.
Yeah, he's a stunt guy. So I was like, okay, I like that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm always like, I feel like in those kind of movies when people get gruesomely killed, sometimes you see like a body double get switched.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, I didn't even care about that character in the first place. Why don't you just make the guy the and it's not a Tom Cruise thing, but like, just he's got 4 lines. Anyone can figure out 4 lines. Just have him be a stunt guy. Yeah, you can say hi to the lady.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm a security guard.
I hate these kids. You know, I'm about to retire.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
We're just missing that.
the pointless context of. Yeah, the movie. Wait, no. Yeah, they don't make that guy look bad. He is made to seem like a genuine
genuine dude. Yeah, a cool dude. Yeah.
Peter Hyman's just an asshole.
Yeah.
As you said, with sudden death.
With sudden death, or in his later movie End of Days, which is Arnold versus the Devil. Like,
nice.
the devil he meets up one of his servants, you know,
Mhm.
and he sees his wife and daughter in the background. He says, "Ooh, is your wife and daughter?" And the next scene, he's just fucking them. Oh, the wife and daughter at the same time.
Oh my god,
And then he
dude.
ends up killing that subordinate. Like he just
Oh.
punches him in the head, and that's it. Yeah, such a mean guy.
I was really about to say like, I really like that Peter Hyman guy. I'm gonna, I'm not gonna say that now.
He's
I'm
also
gonna watch at least 2 more movies before I make that statement.
yeah, definitely watch End of Days and Sudden Death. Those are pretty. He also I've only seen some of this movie, but he made the 2001 A Space Odyssey sequel 2010.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, from what I've seen of it, yeah, it's kind of cool, you know, proto like Interstellar type stuff.
Okay.
You know.
When was it made?
It's made in like I think the mid 80s.
Okay.
Yeah. And he also a couple years ago he was in that O.J. Simpson documentary because he worked with O.J. on the set of one of his earlier films, Capricorn 1. And he became friends with O.J. and then it's pretty interesting his part in the documentary because the first time you see him, he's talking about how like when he met OJ, he was kind of like, I don't know, this football player being in my movie. But then he was like, you know what? He was actually pretty good in it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they're friends throughout the years. And then there comes a point where he's visiting OJ in the Slammer, and he sees, I think he sees like the next row over, he sees like Richard Ramirez or someone. And then that's the moment that he realizes like, oh fuck, I think I'm friends with a murderer. Like,
jeez.
Yeah.
Dude, wait, Richard Ramirez is getting visited? Who's visiting him?
I'm trying to think of another mid-budget filmmaker that would visit him. Maybe it's David Fincher.
David Fincher.
Yeah. Who's not mid-budget, but you know.
It's Judd Apatow is visiting.
Judd Apatow. He was doing research for The Cable Guy.
Yeah.
with Ben Stiller.
But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, we were pleasant. I feel like we were all pleasantly surprised by that movie.
Yeah. No, it's just a slim, you know, dumb, you know, hard on the sleeve B movie. An alien ripoff, you know, like you get a creature that, you know, it's pretty undefined for the most part, but you catch little glimpses of it, and you know, you're introduced to a cast of characters. Some you want to survive, and
some you're waiting.
Some you're just biding the time until they do die. Like
the competing scientist for the grant.
Yeah,
just the brown nose.
Just a complete brown noser. Yeah.
He had some great lines. For sure. It, like, really just make you hate him. It's unabashedly like trying to make you hate him.
Just for the sole purpose, like, and you know, that's where I think the, you know, mean streak in Peter Hyams, like, you know what, he's being playful there. He knows what you're here for, and you know, he's gonna deliver. Well, going back on that Asian guy though that played the competing scientist, again in my IMDb research, I noticed so the lead lady, Penelope Ann Miller, and then remember the curator lady, she's that short one.
Oh yeah,
the short lady. Yeah.
Wait, what is she from? Kindergarten Cop?
They're both from Kindergarten Cop.
They are.
And the Asian guy as well. He's the guy who sells the smack to.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And he says to the bad guy's mom, because you know she does a deal with him so he can sell the bad smack to the witness. And he says, "Who are you, old lady?" Like, and I always remember that line read, and then to discover that all three of them were in that movie together.
Wait, sorry, the old art curator. What part was she in the Kindergarten Cop? She was the
principal.
Yeah, she was the principal, and she was a good character.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was.
She becomes buddies with Arnold, basically.
I couldn't picture what the bad lady in it was.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I could only remember.
She looks like a Catwoman type.
Yeah, I kept mistaking her for the detective, the curator lady. I was like, wait, what? That couldn't have been the detective, like the co-detective. But Yeah, like all I remember from that movie is when she just hits her in the back of the head with the bat.
Oh yeah.
And she says that tough talk line. What is it?
Or actually, no, that's a different character that does that.
No, the detective does.
Oh, the detective. Yeah,
After
okay,
she gets
okay.
ran over by the
Yeah.
car, and then you think she's out down for the count, not dead, but
Yeah.
but then she comes out.
You're not so tough without your car.
Yeah, that's right.
Great.
Fantastic. We should do an episode on kindergarten.
Oh,
Cop.
I'm down.
Maybe a Schwarzenegger episode.
Yeah, we should
for
do a
sure.
Schwarzenegger episode.
That'd be
I
good.
think most definitely.
Yeah, but we got it. We do one all facets of. We'll do Conan, Kindergarten Cop, Jingle All the Way kind of thing.
Yeah. or we gotta fit True Lies in there because you gotta see True Lies.
Oh yeah,
Gotta
yeah,
get
I'll
on
have
the
to
wagon
watch.
for that one.
I've seen like the first. I think you've thrown it on for me before.
I for sure have.
Yeah. And but I mean, yeah, it's a B movie, so yeah.
Yeah.
I would give it a good 3 stars. Not a contentious 3 stars like Freddy that got fingered. Very different 3 stars.
Yeah. No, this is a movie that it was aiming for 3 and it gets 3.
Yeah. So do you want to get into some other stuff right now?
Yeah, we could brush over on some stuff briefly.
You want to do a little dodgeball?
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna give a whole episode to dodgeball, so we can burn that.
Yeah, just that whole day, that whole drive over and drive back, we were just me, Josh, and our buddy Jake. Yeah, we were just quoting dodgeball lines the whole time. So I just
to be fair, you were just doing the.
Well, sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
But
get some shackles in the back.
But really, I got them.
This is gonna be. We're just gonna quote the movie until my laptop dies.
Well, yeah. So I decided to throw on Dodgeball, which is on HBO Max, and sometimes HBO Max, sometimes they'll have the extended cuts of things. So I found the extended cut, which I'd never seen before, of Dodgeball, and I was like thinking, like, man, does this like get a little R-rated or something?
Yeah.
And sure enough, it does. Like, at the car wash scene, what's his name? The guy from Grandma's Boy,
the main guy.
The
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot he's also
when they're all standing there in their mankinis, it like pans down to him and he's just got bush.
Oh my!
Just straight up bush.
I haven't seen the extended cut, but I think I've seen that before. Yeah.
Oh god! And then fuck. When he sees there's a lot of other things, but the 3 things that stick out to me most were when he sees the ugly woman on Globo Gym side, when they see each other at the bar, like they talk about fucking, and then it cuts to them in the bedroom like post coitus, and they're like, oh, that was amazing, and it was just it just made me feel a little gross.
Like right when they meet in the bar.
Yeah, when they meet at the bar in Vegas later.
Yeah,
and he says, "I'm gonna go have a drink in the bathroom." Yeah, yeah. It cuts to them, and they just had sex, and it just leaves a sour taste in my mouth.
Well, and doesn't that kind of mess up the whole arc of them? Because in the normal cut, it's really
it's a gradual thing.
Yeah, until the big kiss in the finale.
Yeah,
so it's just like, oh, happily ever after for them.
Like, I mean, I guess, yeah. It for me, for sure, it did kind of that moment. It really did kind of kill a little, but even more importantly, when after Peter slams Steve the pirate against the wall, says you're not a pirate, he goes down the strip and he gets shit thrown at him. Yeah, and when he gets that milkshake or whatever thrown at him, the guy who calls him freak, like, go back to Treasure Island. He calls him the F word.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Why?
And then the last thing I remember at the climax when he says, "I told you she was a lesbian."
I knew this was gonna be in it.
Yeah, when she says, "Yeah, I'm not a lesbian, I'm bisexual," and Kate starts kissing Vince Vaughn.
Yeah,
and then she brings Joyce along, and Joyce starts making out with Vince Vaughn too. And I think they have a moment where all 3 of them are
they're trying to mish their faces together.
Oh god. And then Vince Vaughn has a line where he says, like, he's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna we better hit the night on the town, I'm feeling lucky tonight. You know what I'm saying? And then it cuts to them all taking the picture, and it it really just kind of kills the flow.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a reason they're deleted scenes.
Yeah.
Well, going on top of the just the whole deleted scenes thing was on. We'll have to do a whole run through of my airport movies I watch.
Oh yeah.
I'm just putting off talking about Morbius because I don't care. But I watched Austin Powers because I just ran out of movies. I
Oh,
wanted
yeah,
this
that's
was
right.
like this was
That's
the
right.
last movie I watched before we landed, and I totally forgot. Maybe it might have been like on the TV version.
Yeah, I remember whenever I'd watch it on TBS in like the late '90s or something.
Every time one of Dr. Evil's minions got killed, it would cut to the family or the friends
The
or
friends at the casino.
finding out that first talking about how he's an honest working man
Yeah.
working for Dr. Evil. He's got a good job. He's got a good head on his shoulders working for Dr. Evil. And the best one is obviously Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
Like what was the occasion? What like did he just get married or something like that, or is his bachelor party maybe?
Yeah, they were like waiting for him or something. Yeah.
They're like, he's really like gotten himself together. He's really starting to get on the right path. Just so ridiculous. Like
they get the phone call, right?
yeah, they get the they call the bar. But like I get why that's not in the normal cut. It's just a complete offshoot, which is
Yeah.
fine in like those kind of comedies.
Mhm.
But like it's almost like a Family Guy cut to thing,
Yeah,
like where
exactly.
as opposed to like in Dodgeball, it's interspliced with the movie, and it messes up the pacing.
yeah, for
When
sure.
with Austin Powers, it's just like it's funny thing after funny thing,
Yeah.
and it's like Austin Powers is gonna fight
Mhm.
Austin Powers in a bald head.
Yeah. And I think especially though you can do that for a TV version.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
'cause,
Because you got the commercials already breaking it up, so
Yeah.
who cares? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But yeah, I remember specifically one of those when they cut back and they're calling the wife and with the child, I think.
Mhm.
The wife is played by Holly Goodhead from Moonraker, which I thought was a cool homage to
That is fun.
yeah, to the
Good,
kind of
good on her for doing that.
Yeah,
For not being like I'm above that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, SNL was hot too, so
yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've off topic, but I've had the worst luck with buying movies at the worst time.
Uh-huh.
I bought Licorice Pizza in preparation for going on my trip because I was like, oh, I'll watch it. Get on the plane. Licorice Pizza's on the plane
For free.
for free, and I was just like, of course. And then sure enough, like last week I bought Elvis, and then not a day later they announced it's gonna be on HBO
Yep.
Max on September 1st. And I'm just like, dude, can I get a win? can I? Like I'm just waiting for Thor Dark World to come out on something because I am not gonna buy that.
Yeah, no, what's funny?
Wait, did I say Thor the Dark World?
You said Thor the Dark World, yeah. Thor Love and Thunder.
Love
yeah.
and Thunder, yeah.
Somebody was telling me like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna see the new Thor movie," and I just told them the same thing I always say, like, it's gonna be on it's gonna be on Disney Plus in like 4 weeks.
Yeah,
just catch
yeah.
it then. And
I
like,
hate-
not even joking, yeah, I said that, and then like a week passes, and then yeah, it'll be on Disney Plus in like a week.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So we'll have to. We'll get into that. I don't think we'll give an episode to it unless it's that bad or that good.
yeah,
I don't think it'll be either, honestly.
I think it'll just be middle of the road if anything.
Yeah. Which is a shame. I like, man. Thor Ragnarok really got my juices flowing
Mhm.
for that character. And-
You know what? As the years go by, like I start to like that movie a little less and a little less.
That's all Marvel movies, though. All of them really don't have the staying power because
yeah.
like, that segues in. You said you watch Avengers 1.
Oh yeah. So I watched Avengers 1. I kind of parsed it out just during my lunch breaks, and then I finished it. I finished it when I got home the other
Mhm.
morning. And you know what? Like I think I've liked that movie probably the most I've ever liked it now.
Okay. Yeah.
I always keep it at like a 3 stars because it's just like, it's just kind of the novelty of it all,
The precedent of doing something of that scale.
Exactly.
There's always going to be that reverence
Yeah.
to give that movie specifically.
Yeah.
And I guess you can go ahead and say that about the Infinity War and Endgame.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, even those, it's kind of like those don't have the panache of a full movie.
No,
Like
It's-
the third movie, I forgot. Someone kind of explained, I think on Letterboxd, that it's just action piece,
Action
between
set piece, quip,
action set piece,
a character moment.
Yeah.
and then action set piece.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, great. Like it's an epic. It's a great theater experience for sure when you know what's going on.
Yeah.
But like if you don't know what's going on, this is the worst movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, zero context with the characters.
There's hardly any plot development. I mean, character development.
It's all just forward momentum, just action.
Yeah,
which is why I love Infinity War, the best out of all the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
But I think what I liked most about Avengers 1 is I think having those characters bicker at each other. I think it was done best in that one. Yeah. Where I think Age of Ultron and Civil War, they couldn't really recapture that magic.
Yeah.
I think like the best parts of that movie is just when they're on the helicarrier and like it's just Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo just pretending to be, comic book characters with each other.
Yeah.
There was one moment where I rolled my eyes hard though. It's when Loki. I do have a little bit of problem with Loki and his whole ideology. Yeah. Because in the beginning when he says the Samuel L. Jackson, he's like, what do you want? The world. I forget exactly what he says, but then he says like, free. I want the world free from freedom. It's like, ooh, wow, you're such a bad dude.
So cool.
and then later, when he's in Germany and he's in front of all those people, and then the one guy who they're supposed to insinuate is a Holocaust survivor, he stands up, and I swear to God, dude, they put in some like Schindler's List-esque violin music to accompany him, and yeah, he's. I was like, oh my God, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say Loki. Yeah, Loki. I mean, he had the best development, but I think they didn't really do the best villains. Like it really took them a while to develop a cool villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Jeff Bridges was fine. Like that was cool.
That was
cool. Thor's first villain was nothing.
The Frost Giant. Whatever.
It wasn't even the Frost Giant. I guess it was semi Loki.
It was it was
also
mainly to prop up Loki at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the big
the big armored thing.
Yeah, the big armored thing.
Yeah.
Just doesn't.
No personality.
It doesn't speak at all. It's just a big.
It's just a henchman.
Yeah, big bad to kill. One of the three, like, kind of henchmen of like Thanos, except it doesn't talk.
And the CGI looks very chintzy now.
Yeah.
It did then, as I recall.
Yeah, and then, yeah, it's. I mean, it's fine. They're gonna make them forever. It's gonna be weird, like, dude, when we're like 40 or 50, and they're still gonna be making those. Those aren't gonna stop. Like,
no.
I think we've theorized about the fall of it. If the Avengers don't get morbified in some way, which I don't know if anyone will have if Twitter will have the gall to morbify the whole MCU.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's gonna have the confidence, because there's always gonna be the stands that just love the comic books, and they just love the fact that these comic books are being put onto the big screen, which I like. There's something to be said about that, but at the same time, like, how many times are we gonna rinse and repeat?
And I just think the thing is, and the thing that why it's always gonna have defenders is it's just a little too competent.
Yeah,
like when you get a package from Amazon, it's perfectly packaged in there.
Yeah.
Hopefully they didn't, they weren't throwing the box around, and you get your package and it's exactly how you expected it. It's.
The one thing I think, like, a lot of people say, oh, PC culture killed the comedy movie. Because, like, yeah, when's the last time we've seen a good comedy? Like, just straight comedy.
Since The Hangover.
Dude, Louis C.K. made a drama movie. That's where we're at right now. It's good. I did like the 4th of July. I'll have to show it to you sometime. But I think Marvel killed, like, comedy movie.
Yeah.
They might have been, maybe PC culture did a little bit, but, like, Marvel was the final blow for sure, because they have that's their thing. It's quip, a little bit of character development, action scene, quip. Yeah. Someone says something funny.
Some fan service here.
Yeah, and like that's replaced what we see as comedy, but they're technically kids movies.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, we need raunchy comedies again. Like, people try, and like they just end up being Netflix originals.
Where it's just improv riffing. Camera sits in front of them for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and but like that, I think we talked about this off mic, but like the package and Game Over Man,
Yeah.
they were so close. They were so close to starting something.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite like. There's
take.
nothing wrong with either of those movies. It's a really funny thing to say. There's nothing wrong with the package. For those of you who don't know, watch it. But it's about a guy that cuts his dick off on accident, and it's a journey to try to reattach his dick when they're in the forest stranded. And it's a it's a good comedy, man. It's a good like dumb silly comedy. And Game Over Man with Workaholics guys, like they just did Die Hard.
They just did Die Hard.
They just wrote Die Hard with the Workaholics guys as Bruce Willis. Or doing their best Bruce Willis.
What I like about Game Over Man though is that how they really like to push some of their bits. Like they have the gay couple who's part of the terrorist group.
Oh,
and then one of them, he wants to get revenge because they killed his gay lover, and they really like take that as far as you can go with it.
It's a whole subplot. This guy is on his own movie. He's got his own movie plot going.
My favorite part though is when the Workaholics guys, they're trying to apologize to him. They're like, "We're sorry, we didn't mean to kill your friend." While he's beating them with rocks, and he's like, "My friend, you sound like my dad."
That's the guy from Shame, dude.
That's right.
That guy is. I love that guy so much. I wanted to see him in more stuff. He's so funny, dude.
Yeah, he could be in an action movie anytime.
Yeah, no, he's got the physique. He could kill it. But yeah, I mean, I think you got anything else you want to throw out there?
No, not really.
I think. Sorry, no funny quips at the end of this one. I think.